Yeah, eat, sleep, fantasy, you rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs, better follow the conversation with
John,
Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation, we doing what we like. Tune in every week, guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy, football enthusiasts, I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah, Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy.
All right, welcome to another episode of Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. My name is Armando Crespo, and you can follow me at Thunder Crespo. And with me is Mr. Chapman John.
I like that. I like the formality of the last name first. But yeah, it's an awesome week, man. 49ers win again. What's up? 5-0. Had a blast at that game. Took the family out. It was wonderful. And I feel like my fantasy teams are kind of on par with the 49ers so far. So hopefully we got some good stuff for you today. Waiver wires, what to look forward to, some news and notes. We got some more good stuff.
That is hot stuff. I cannot believe that the 49ers, it's all defense, man. That offense is fugly, but they're winning games with that defense. I don't know.
Yeah, nobody scored over 20 points on them, so it's funny. You kind of have to fade whoever it is that's playing against them. They have shut down some top-tier offensive so far, so it's kind of part of it. It's kind of fun once we get to this part of the season because we know what teams are now. You can kind of figure out who's fake and who's real and all those things, but especially on the defensive side, you do not play people playing New England, and you do not play people playing the 49ers. It's just what you got to do.
I will disagree with you on the New England side. They haven't played an NFL team yet at all. Like, they've played minor league teams thus far.
Yeah,
I
think
that they're a real deal.
I'm with you. So unless they're like a top tier stud, just from a fantasy standpoint, their defense is, gosh, they have limited everybody. But you're right. The level of competition has been void.
Yeah. All right, let's go right into this. I think the biggest news that I'm most concerned about is Amari Cooper, and it turns out he just has a bruised thigh, which isn't terrible, but he's in a lot of pain. How worried are you about this? There's no structural damage.
Right, so that's the good news, but a bruised thigh, it makes it really, really difficult to plant and kind of go full speed on that. So it's one of those, because he is a wide receiver and has to open up, that's kind of rough. Now, what's probably more problematic is just the complete destruction of the Cowboys team from an NFL standpoint. I don't know if you saw the video of the players coming off the field and Jason Garrett's doing his normal robot clap trying to high-five everybody, and they just literally avoid the hell out of him. Like, not one player acknowledges him. They won't touch his hand. Like, if they lose another game or two, I think that he would be the next coach to be fired, which is crazy, considering they started 3-0 and everybody was like, oh, they're the best team in the NFL. If they lose to Philly this week, it could be time.
It's gonna get. I mean, they really could lose. I mean, they've lost to good teams. It's not like they're losing to scrubs. I do believe the Jets are a good team. They have a good defense, and I believe they have an okay offense. So, I mean, they just caught them off guard. I think they're a decent team. I think the Jets might make the playoffs. Big might.
Ooh, dang! You wanna bet on that? I'll take those odds.
Sure.
Ooh.
Okay. How about this? The Jets are they'll finish.
You can actually hear Armando backtracking mentally and physically.
I'm just thinking about, there's possibilities. They're 1-4 right now, but there's always a chance to lose a couple games. I mean, they play the Dolphins
How about
twice.
this? I'll meet you in the middle. I bet they will not finish 8-8.
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely take that. I think they finish at least 9-7.
Okay. What would you like to bet? Is this just an eat bet, or do you want to put some dough down, my friend?
Let's put $20 down.
Boom. So 8-8 is a push. So nobody wins if they're 8-8. If they're 7-9 or worse, I get paid. 9 or 7 above, you get paid. Correct?
Correct. You are on the way better end of this bargain right now. You know that, right?
I'm just going with what you gave me, Armando, and you gave me a lot to work with, my friend. But I am pulling for you and your Jets. Not really. I hate Adam Gase. But, let's see what happens.
All right. I'll dig a little deeper on this in a second. Robert Gronkowski. Their schedule is just so good that they can literally just win the next 5 games without a problem.
There you go.
Literally, they beat the Cowboys. They're going to beat the Dolphins twice. They're going to beat the Redskins. They're going to beat. They have another easy game. I can't remember who it is.
Hey man, you just let me know if you want to up that $20. You keep talking yourself into this. Let's just we'll keep adding to the total.
All right. So just a couple of quick signings that happened today. Benny Flower has re-signed with the Giants. I don't know how big of a deal it is, but we are expecting a longer stint of Shepard being out, so I think it has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, that's problematic for sure. It's not a good thing for anybody.
Yeah. Patrick Peterson is going to return from his suspension after 6 games, which is this week. And the next thing that's going to happen is Ben Watson has re-signed with the Patriots. I think that's the biggest news so far.
Yeah, curious to see. We told you guys 2 weeks ago to get on this, and we were wrong, short term. But now he's back, and so you kind of got to wait and see. So if you're in a deep league and you want to pick him up and stash him, you definitely do not want to start him. It's a wait-and-see approach. He knows the system. He's been with the team. You've got to see how they use him first. So pay attention to snap counts and target share first before you put him in your lineup. Even if you are desperate, there are better options. But he is still a high upside play, long-term.
100% agree with that. Evan Ingram and Saquon Barkley have practice on Monday. They play Arizona this week. I think they're both must-starts. And is Daniel Jones a must-start?
Yeah, if they're playing. Anybody that plays, again, we talked about the defenses to stay away from, but the defenses to target, we know those as well now. Definitely Arizona, Atlanta, Cincinnati, Miami. Those are the defenses that we are targeting. Whoever they play, or whomever they play is how you should say it, you've got to start everybody. And, man, I think this is kind of crazy, but I think the Chargers are kind of etching into that category as well.
Yeah, they're getting there. So back to the New York Jets. They play, after New England this week, they played the Jags, Miami, the Giants, Washington, Oakland, Cincinnati, and Baltimore.
They might be able to get 4 wins out of that stretch.
You don't think those? You don't at the very least.
I don't know. I'd take Baltimore over them. Definitely.
That's week 15, 16. Yeah, but I mean, they're going to beat Miami both times. Cincinnati, most likely. All right. You know what? I fucked up. I'm going to lose $20.
Yep.
Yep. I'll take it. It is what it is. Paris Campbell did not practice today, which kind of sucks. I had a lot of money invested in him. And that kind of does it for the news. That is a weak news day.
It really is. And I'll say this about Paris Campbell before we move on. This is when he needed to step in and kind of seize his hold of this offense when T.Y. was out to guarantee his production later on and his volume later on. He hasn't done that. So not saying that he's not relevant, but he has missed a huge opportunity. It might not be his fault because of injury, but this was his chance to prove he was going to be that top-tier starter, and he hasn't been able to do that. So rest of season, I'm moving him down a little bit. He just missed a huge opportunity is the way I see it.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. So let's move on to the waiver wire. This is also going to be kind of bare bones waiver wire. There wasn't a lot of injuries. We're just going to go by bye-week fill-ins and stuff like that. So the first guy that's on our list is Sam Darnold. He is 84% available, and like I said, his schedule is phenomenal going forward.
Yeah, got to give a shout-out to Clayton Cadu. He put this together, our producer of this episode, at Cadu Clayton. He does great work. And again, you talked about the Jets' kind of lineup moving forward. He has some amazing fantasy matchups. So if your quarterback is hurting or you've been struggling or you stuck with Baker Mayfield or something along those lines, this is a great pickup. I'm not the biggest Sam Darnold guy, but you've got to love those matchups.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to win 9 games, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Josh Allen is 50% available as well. He's going to make our waiver wire column. He just barely makes it. But his schedule's pretty nice, and he's a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, you've got – I don't know why. I think he was dropped just because of the bye week. But, again, he is a swing-for-the-fences play that if it's a good matchup, you've got to play him because the rushing totals are just huge. The rushing touchdowns are huge. So whenever things are good for him, he's wonderful. But if it's a tough defensive matchup, you have to put him on the bench. Great streaming option, though, and a lot of dynasty leagues have Josh Allen. And if you're smart and you use him correctly, you can win a lot of games.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. So this guy, I think, is actually the only player on this list that can make a long-term effect in fantasy football is Mark Walton. He's 96% available. I don't know if you watched the game at all, but he took a lot of work early in the game.
Yeah, more snaps. And he out-touched Kenyon Drake. In this, you've got to play him again, a starting running back on any fantasy football team or any NFL team, including the Miami Dolphins, which makes that NFL pre-qualifying statement kind of testy. It matters. If he's going to be the guy there, it matters long term. So
yeah, especially in a PPR league, him and Drake are catching the balls 5 or 6 times. Put up a couple yards and rushing it. I mean, they're a steady 10-point team. 10 points you're going to get off the board. That's great for, bye weeks and flex plays for sure.
Right. Yep. I like it.
So another guy that made our list is Latavius Murray. He's 52% available. Alvin Kamara's banged up. What do you think about this one?
Anybody that's the running back in that situation, and, you've got to give it to Coach Payton. It doesn't matter if Drew Brees is in there. That's what we're learning. This team is solid. Great offensive line, great skill position, great defense, all those things. Whomever is an offensive starter on this, outside of the wide receiver position, you have Michael Thomas, but outside of that, I don't think anybody else is fantasy relevant. But they love to run the ball in the red zone. And so if Latavius Murray's going to get an uptick in carries, then who knows? You're talking about an RB2 that's available in half of your leagues.
Are you worried about Kamara?
No, not really. Not long term, I'm not. Maybe for 1 week, but I think that even if he suits up, he will still be, I'll consider him an RB1 no matter what.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. This guy that's coming up, I think, is actually the most interesting. He's a great handcuff, Chase Edmonds. We kind of talked about him last week. He's 66% available, and he looks sensational.
Yeah, David Johnson just can't shake. He's just banged up. A lot of it's just his workload. And so you look at the matchups coming up. They've got the New York Giants. Both are going to be fantasy relevant. Just the amount of plays that the Cardinals run, and especially the amount of volume, whether it's traditional running game or screen passes. Chase Edmonds, we've told you guys, the number of his ownership ratings crept up a little bit, but it should be higher. Chase Edmonds should be owned in every format.
Yeah, definitely agree. I actually think he's like a flex start. Going forward, he's getting enough volume where he could be interesting if you're desperate for a running back.
Yep.
Auden Tate for the Cincinnati Bengals is 77% available, and he's being targeted a shit ton.
Yeah.
34 targets for the last 4 games. That's a lot.
Until A.J. Green comes back, Auden Tate he's fantasy dependent, which is crazy. And I got to take a break real quick because I want to talk about this game a little bit more and the betting lines. So if you head over to our website, eatsleepfantasy.com, it's a website, click on the Nitrogen Sports banner, the #1 Bitcoin betting site in the world. They are so easy to work with. And here's my bet of the week so far early on. I love targeting Cincinnati Bengals games because, one, lots of plays, terrible defense, terrible quarterback play with Andy Dalton. So the early lines of the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. The Bengals are receiving 3 points, so the Jaguars are losing 3 points. So here's the bet I'm taking. I've already put money down on this because I expect the line to move a lot. I am taking the Jaguars -3. I do not believe in the Cincinnati Bengals at all. I don't think that they're good. I think they're actually an awful team. But I am taking the Jacksonville Jaguars here. If that line moved to 5 points, I would still take the Jags. 6 points is where I'm going to kind of slow down. But I do expect this line to move dramatically towards the Jaguars' favor. So they're -3 right now. I think that's going to end up about -4.5 or 5 throughout this week. So that is my bet of the week with Nitrogen Sports. They are wonderful. And if you don't like betting football, you can literally bet anything over there, including election stuff. I was playing around on the site one of those nights I couldn't sleep. They've got it all. So, looking forward to this game.
I've actually started a Deadpool for presidential candidates for the Democratic Party.
Oh.
Not that they die or anything. You just who's getting eliminated, or not eliminated, but as they fall off the after they drop out. So
ooh.
I should have offered it up to the Eastleigh Fantasy Party.
There you go.
So Jamison Crowder is the next guy on our list. He's 58% available, which is absolutely crazy. He has 20 catches with Sam Darnold as quarterback. So this guy's a PPR monster.
And that's the thing. People forget because once Sam Darnold was injured, he disappeared. Well, Sam Darnold's back now. And whenever he's in there, there's two people in the wide receiver position that are relevant. You have Robbie Anderson, you have Jamison Crowder, Le'Veon Bell, that's it. So those three pieces, not that they're, I guess you could say must start, but in PPR formats, completely dependable players, which is crazy in an Adam Gase offense. But because they're just focused on those three guys, you start with confidence.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. I think Robbie Anderson's going to be a buy low if he's available. Should also be on this waiver wire column. Like, he's going to be good. Maybe not against the Patriots, but the schedule's just too good to not start a Jet on every week.
Yep.
Darren Fells for the Houston Texans is 97% available with Will Dissly probably going on IR. He's going to make the waiver wire column.
Yeah, Fells and Atkins, they've been using a lot of 2 tight end sets and rotating them in because they just can't pass protect. They lost. I don't know how long the offensive lineman's going to be out, but one of their first round pick got injured this week, and so they've got a good thing going with these tight ends, and so. Yeah, now I will say this, they're not the most dependable because it seems like one week it's Fells, the next week it's Atkins, so it's kind of a roll of the dice if you're in a rough situation. Like you said, if you did have Disley and O.J. Howard, for example, like you're trying to get something. But yeah, Fells is definitely an option. Also check and see if T.J. Hawkinson is available. I doubt that he is, but in a few of my leagues, he got dropped whenever he had that bad concussion, but it's looking like he's going to be back already. We're recording this before Monday Night Football kickoff, so we will see. He's going to play tonight, but man, I cannot believe it, but he's probably owned in your league, but I saw him available in 2 of mine, so something definitely worth
crazy.
Looking into.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. That's going to do it for our waiver wire column. John, do you want to do a couple drop and ads, or I want to ask you a couple questions, pretty much quick fire.
Yeah,
do you mind if I do that?
Yeah, for sure. Let's do that real quick. Let's shoot, brother, from the hip. Bring it my way.
All right, first question for you. DJ Chark is currently the number 2 wide receiver in the NFL for fantasy football purposes. How do you think he finishes in the top 15 now? Is he like what's your idea with him?
Top 15 is about where I would bet the over-under. I think the cream will rise to the top, and I do like DJ Chark. So I have him as a wide receiver 2 rest of season. But who knows? We still don't know how that quarterback situation is going to shake out with Nick Foles coming back. Do you just stay with Gardner Minshew? What do you do there? It's a really weird situation there. I do like DJ Chark, but again, wide receiver 2 rest of season. So I'd say the under, actually.
I don't disagree with you on that one. So Terry McLaurin, this one's going to be a little weird. He plays San Francisco, Minnesota, Buffalo, then on a bye. What are you doing with Terry McLaurin? He's coming off a 2-touchdown game. He's been pretty good as of right now. He's number 14 ranked wide receiver. What's going on with Terry McLaurin?
Sell high if you have him, first off. Right now is the highest that his value will be rest of season. One, he is great with Chase Daniels. Sorry, no, it's wrong. I went after the wrong quarterback there. I feel very, very, very bad. Case Keenum. Now, he's great with him. I don't think Case Keenum's going to continue to be the starter long term, perhaps for a little while. But again, as you said, those defenses, the next 4 weeks is rough. So now after those 4 weeks, I think that he's going to be just fine again. His talent is amazing. He might be one of the faster people in the entire NFL at the wide receiver position. So love him long term, but just understand this next month is going to drive you crazy. If you have him, sell high now. Buy low, sell high. It's how you win in leagues. Go cash in. Get somebody like Kenny Golladay. You might even be able to get somebody better like Keenan Allen, who's coming off of 2 bad weeks in a row. No problem selling there. Those matchups are rough.
All right, good segue. Keenan Allen, panic or calm?
Calm. I feel like I could have made a song out of that, but that's okay. I am tone deaf.
Calm.
No, Keenan Allen you have to be just fine with. The target share is there. Again, he was shadowed by Chris Harris, one of the better cornerbacks in the entire NFL, and they always play. Phillip Rivers has never, ever played their division opponents very, very well. So you just have to, just what it is. We talked about it earlier the week before. Never play Phillip Rivers versus his division opponents. He's awful as an in-division quarterback. And reflected all across the board except to Hunter Henry, who had a great game. But love Keenan Allen. That target share is bananas, so go get him. That is a buy low target. He was leading the entire league in receiving yards through 5 weeks, so go get him. He's going to be just fine. Also want to just let our listeners know we have an awesome partnership working right now with Manscaped.com, one of the best sites out there for all of men's grooming areas. For the nether regions, if you got to clean up downstairs, Manscaped.com has all the products that you will need. One, here's the deal. There is nothing worse than trying to groom down there and you cut yourself or you nick yourself. It hurts so bad. Well, Manscaped.com has all of the products that you need to get a clean, safe, I guess is the right word, to your nether region. So head over there, use promo code ESF. What you're going to get is 20% off and free shipping. It doesn't even make sense. I don't know why you haven't done this already. Head over there, Manscaped.com, use promo code ESF, and let them know Eat Sleep Fantasy sent you over there to clean up your balls.
So DeAndre Hopkins has been bad in PPR, but in standard formats, he's been pretty mediocre. Are you panicking on him?
No. Absolutely not. The target share is there. The offensive power is there. Deshaun Watson's playing like an MVP candidate, and a lot of it is because teams are actively trying to take away Hopkins, but he's still meeting the threshold. He's not costing you games. This week he had a lot of catches, and he's not finding the end zone, but it's coming. So you just got to just be patient on this. Again, you don't panic on these players. You just wait. Again, I'm still trying to get DeAndre Hopkins in every single league I'm in. Steve won't trade him to me, though. He is bullheaded. But yeah, love DeAndre Hopkins. Stay with it.
I don't disagree with you on that one. So we're moving to running backs right now, and I'm going to throw a couple of obscure names at you. Jordan Howard. Are you buying or selling Jordan Howard?
I don't think you can really get a lot for him. Miles Sanders is the guy there. He might not be getting the rushing totals, but it's the last 4 games in a row. I saw a tweet where Miles Sanders has had the longest reception for the Eagles 4 games in a row. He is Darren Sproles with upside, and eventually he's going to start to get more carries as well. So Miles Sanders would be the guy that I would like to own there. If I do have Jordan Howard, I'm going to package him with somebody else and try to upgrade at the running back position. I do not see Jordan Howard being a long-term play. I really, really don't.
Yeah, I like his schedule down the playoffs. He played Miami, the Giants, and Washington. So I'm looking at them, and I think I can get Jordan Howard pretty cheap. So I was going to be on the buy side of this. I think his schedule, when it matters, is pretty fantastic. So that's what I'm looking at for him. I think you get him for a low draft pick, or maybe even Ronald Jones a swap, Matt Breida. I don't know. Buy or sell Matt Breida? Would you rather have Jordan Howard or Matt Breida? I guess a couple questions there.
I would prefer Matt Breida. I just believe in that offense and the volume that Matt Breida will get in the passing game as well. I prefer Matt Breida.
Or are you buying or selling Matt Breida after this week?
He's at value.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think that you can really get something that's worth what Matt Breida is going to bring long term. People aren't running to get him. So if you have him right now, is the time. You should have sold him last week. We told you to sell him last week. But right now he's kind of at value. You can try to package him with somebody else if you need to, if you're hurting for an extra starter spot. But I think you're kind of holding on to him right now.
Yeah. I think Tevin Coleman kind of looked terrible at the goal line this week.
He did, and he kept getting all the freaking snaps there. I don't understand it. He cost him 2 touchdowns on one drive alone. But Kyle Shanahan, I think, maybe has maybe Tevin Coleman blackmailed Shanahan. It's the only way I can understand it.
Yeah, they play Washington this week. I think you hold on to everyone that's on the 49er side and you trade them after this week.
Oh, good call. Good call.
So moving forward, Carlos Hyde went apeshit last week. Are you buying or selling Carlos Hyde?
You've got to buy. Now is buy time. I don't know if you can get him because he's the guy. It's not even close between him and Duke Johnson. What do you have, 28 touches?
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense. And again, whenever you're looking at that offense, that's a high-powered offense. So get used to that. He is a great, great play. And I think I have Carlos Hyde almost in every single league. I was able to get him early.
Fuck you.
Yeah. There's certain players that I was really high on, and Carlos Hyde was one of them. And whenever he got cut, or whenever the Chiefs got rid of him, I was like, oh, no, it's over.
Yeah.
But he rebounded nicely. So I was wrong, but I was kind of right.
Yeah, kind of right. For now, it was a good matchup. We'll see what he looks like next week.
There we
It's
go.
kind of been up and down. So the last guy I kind of want to talk about is Sonny Michel. He's coming off 2 back-to-back pretty good games. Are you buying, selling, or I guess staying put on Sonny Michel? He's the most questionable player for me so far.
The upside is just so damn much with Sonny Michel because of the touchdown and the rushing volume, and he's adding into it passing. But what happens? Tom Brady goes out and rushes for 2 damn touchdowns.
What the fuck?
It's just what it's going to be. And then Brandon Bolden gets in the end zone as well. This is what it's like to own a Bill Belichick running back. But the talent and the scheme and all those things are there. So there are going to be weeks where he can get you 20-plus points. But then there's going to be weeks where he's going to get you 5, but he should have got you 20. So you should have been paid off if you were a Sonny Michel guy this week. But sometimes it happens. He's got to be a low-end RB2 every single week that he's active, though. Because, again, if you look back to the playoffs where he scored, 6 touchdowns in 3 games or something like that. Like, he's that reliable for rushing touchdowns. Just sometimes Bill Belichick wants to piss us off. That's the only way I can understand it.
Yeah, he has 2 okay matchups going forward, the Jets and the Cleveland Browns, week 7 and 8. But then it gets a little tougher with Baltimore. He plays Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Buffalo for the playoffs. I think that's pretty good if you need him for week 16. Yeah, it's a little tough, but he might even get you deep into the playoffs with that schedule.
Yep.
That is fantastic. So I personally would trade for him and expect mediocre games, half the time, and then he'll win the championship for you. So we'll see.
He's one of my favorite plays in deep starter leagues, where you have to start 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and 2 flex plays. That's the perfect format for Sonny Michel. If you're in one of those 2 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, then I'm just damn, you're never going to feel confident starting this guy ever. But in deep starting leagues, he's wonderful.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. That's all we got, John. This was
Dude, I love it. Quick and easy, just like my love life. Wait,
easy.
what?
Yeah. No, I'm down. I'd fuck you.
Yeah, fun times, man. Yeah, it's a good week. Stay with us. We got some fun new stuff coming your way. I don't want to, I guess, blow my wad early, but there's some new happenings coming to Eat Sleep Fantasy pretty soon with some new technological advances.
What the fuck are you guys holding back from me?
Oh, I've been working behind the scenes, creating some new video outlets, and almost finished with them. I didn't want to talk about them because I wasn't sure I could do it, but turns out I can, and it's going to be pretty awesome.
Fucking great, John. You're fucking great.
Anyway, this is a lot of fun, Armando, as always on Mondays. It's fun to talk, and hopefully you guys finish up tonight and get the victory. And, we'll be back with you guys soon.
Yeah. Eat, sleep, fantasy, you rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs, better follow the conversation with John, Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation, we doing what we like. Tune in every week, guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy, football enthusiasts, I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah, Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy.